Welcome to the Filmistines, the podcast where we discuss all things movies. Join us as we dive deep into the latest releases, revisit classic films, and explore the art of cinema. Whether you're a film fanatic or just love a good flick, we've got you covered. From Hollywood blockbusters to indie gems, we'll be breaking down the storytelling, cinematography, and everything in between. So grab some popcorn, sit back, and get ready for some cinematic magic. If you like what you hear, please consider subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/filmistines. We offer tiers at the $1, $5, and $20 level, where the $5 tier grants the ability to request films for future episodes. This is the Filmistines, where movies are more than just entertainment, they're an experience. And welcome back to another episode of the Filmistines. Let's get a light round of applause. We have a special one today. As we do every Monday, Wednesday, Friday of the week, we bring new episodes to you. We just covered the first and last Insidious. Go listen to our Spider-Man Across the Multiverse, Spider-Verse episode. One of the verses. Go listen to our Barbie, Oppenheimer, Dunkirk, Chicken Run episode. They're all great episodes. They're all waiting for you to be listened to be enjoyed. And I am joined by, as you'd expect, my firebending friend, Lucy.
Firebending?
Yeah, that's all I got. Avatar reference. Even though this movie has nothing to do with Avatar, The Last Airbender. If you were in that universe, which element would you bend?
In Avatar?
Yeah.
I didn't really watch Avatar.
We got four choices: Earth, Fire, Water, Air. Which one?
Why would I want to bend them?
You've never seen the show?
It was a show that I guess maybe I put on in the background if there was nothing better to watch. But I don't think I even paid attention. I know one character's name is Aang. That's it. And the big fluffy beast is cool.
Appa.
Yep.
Yeah, he's cool. And Momo's cool too. He's the lemur. He's the little monkey squirrel dude.
Aw.
They find him at the air temple in an early episode. Yeah, people, it depending on what culture of people you come from in that universe, kind of dictates your what element you bend. I'd want to bend Earth, of course, because it's much more useful than the others.
But what are you bending?
You can manipulate the element that
into
into Earth. You can manipulate the Earth around you into a house.
All right.
You can make a lot. I mean, it's mostly used for fighting in the show, so I mean that's cool.
Okay.
I guess, and you can eventually, I guess, if you become good enough at bending certain elements, you can bend like variations of it. Like there are some water benders can have figured out how to bend blood, which is you're a you can that's a big deal if you can bend blood, because you can pretty much kill anyone without any kind of resistance. And then if you're a earthbender, you figure out how to bend metal, and then you can make electronics through your bending. You can make...
Wait, all that's in the show?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the variant kind of bending is mostly in Legend of Korra, which that's the only cool part about it, is they take the bending to the next level, where you can bend metal and blood and whatever, and electricity, and there's a little bit of electricity bending in the first series, but Legend of Korra really it runs with that a little bit and then drops the ball story-wise. And then, Aang's story is much more interesting because he's it's kind of a very anime thing where he's the unlikely hero, right? He's a bald little dude who is just the avatar, so he's got to go learn his abilities. And then they make Korra just a whiny, ungrateful little bitch. It's like, okay, we're gonna deal with this for a season or two, and they canceled it, of course. The coolest thing about that show probably is we got to see a lot of what they called the spirit realm, and that's a whole nother thing that I just won't even get into, because this podcast is about the new and improved, sort of, not really, Pixar film Elemental, directed by the legendary director Peter Sohn. He directed The Good Dinosaur.
Wow, I can tell.
It's kind of funny how he went from a movie without any dialogue to a movie driven by dialogue, and he just
Clearly didn't know what to do.
he clearly doesn't know how to write dialogue. Doesn't know how to write how humans, especially parents and kids, communicate with one another. I guess we'll just say it from the top. Elemental sucks. It has entered what's the opposite of Pantheon? Grave? Like a forgotten gravesite?
Yeah, like a graveyard.
That's where Elemental lives, with Good Dinosaur, Cars 2, and
Lightyear.
Yep. I didn't know we were gonna get I mean, I guess it makes sense because we've clearly been on the downswing with Pixar for many years now, right?
Yeah.
With the exception of, this and that, I guess, or whatever. I hate to say it, but I think I have completely lost faith in Pixar. I don't even come in crossing my arms to be impressed. I just am completely unmoved at this point. What did you think of Elemental, my friend?
Yeah, I was very surprised how much it sucked. Because you have I don't want to say it's a cool concept, because it's not the coolest concept, but it is, like, I get what they were trying to do with the fire and the water and, the two other elements. And I like the idea of how they made them kind of interact with themselves, because, they're not really people. They're the thing. They are the fire, they are the water, they are the air. But, you have to make them kind of, how do you say that word?
Anthropomorphic.
Yes. And, for kids too, so you have to make them a little human-like. So I get that, and I like where they were trying to go with just that specific part and animating it that specific way. But everything else about this film, just, it wasn't interesting. Your story wasn't interesting. I don't even know what you were trying to tell me. Were you trying to tell me that, we need to have more interracial couples? Or were you trying to tell me about respecting my parents? Or were you giving me an immigration story, or a kid who's too emotional? I have no idea what this film was trying to give me at all. And it didn't bore me like The Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid bored me. I couldn't not be on my phone with The Little Mermaid. I feel you with that.
This movie made me go, what? Yeah. A little too much. Like this, it's like almost, I guess it's almost so bad it's kind of hooks you.
I need to pay attention.
Yeah, kind of thing. Well, hang on right there. It's you saying that is, I mean, I think for a filmmaker, I think that is probably the biggest insult you could have ever fucking said. Saying that you couldn't even get a clear message out of it. Not, what the message is trying to tell you, but you couldn't even get any message out of it. That's not good. That's a sign of really, really bad storytelling and filmmaking. That's unfortunate. And I mean, I'm with you.
It's like, I know the topics you probably had up there on your storyboard, but you didn't.
They were just the
give
word.
Me a lesson.
Immigration.
Yes.
Interracial couple.
Parents.
Chemistry. Yeah, it's so. That's it. That's what it felt like. Fire and water. Fire, water, earth, air.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right.
What are you doing with that?
So you kind of enjoyed the so-called very insular, is that the word? Forms of anthropomorphization. Now I'm all mixed up.
Yeah, sorry.
Anthropomorphization. I fucked it up. Anthropomorphization. Is that it? Of our fire and water characters, to the point where, did you like that our main character was explosive and that's basically it? Did you? Not really a lot of character, but
no, I enjoyed just the fact that, okay, our main character was fire, so whenever she got touched by water, like half of her face.
Okay, so physically.
Yeah, physical, exactly. Half of her face would be gone. Or our water dude could, kind of move around like water. You know, he wasn't
And
exactly in a vessel either. So I think they had a little bit of fun with that. But
yeah, I agree. And that's pretty much where it stops in any kind of
yep.
consistent way, because we are given that this fire girl is an angry, firecracker, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, yeah, you could. That's a low hanging fruit kind of trait you'd expect from a fire person, right? But not all the other fire people were like that. We know we're surrounded by fire people through, what, a third or fourth of the movie, with the shop and her parents and everything. And it's very one note. It doesn't really serve her being a fire person. So it's like, okay, so she's just an angry person, you know?
Yeah, she could have been a water sign and made tsunamis or
Mm-hmm.
made, I don't know, hurricanes.
Yeah, and then our water boy just cried, or his parents. I guess we did get a little bit more there in that direction,
Mm-hmm.
where do just all water people cry a lot? That's a little weird.
That was very weird. I like fire in choices when I'm picking a weapon and I have the choice to make it, fire, lightning, water, whatever. I'm picking fire. Or if I have, an animal that's going to be with me, I'm more likely going to pick something with fire or some fiery choice, whatever. So I think I'm a little partial to fire, but I have never associated water with sadness, with tears. So that was a weird choice here. That was a weird choice for them to do. I don't know what the train of thought was there. Just because they're blue.
I saw some quote saying, I think it was Peter, our director here. He said that water is transparent, so he wanted his water people to wear their emotions on their sleeves. I was like, that doesn't mean that they cry all the time. That doesn't mean if someone wears their emotions on the sleeve, that just means that they're dramatic,
Expressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like and this character is not dramatic. He's a fucking simp. He's a fuckboy. That's what you said?
Yeah, I said he was a fuckboy.
He's a fuckboy. There's nothing likable about him, just like her. I mean, that's, I guess, their commonality is there's nothing to like about each other, so you were made for each other.
I mean, you can even arguably say she expresses her emotions as bad as he does, because she's not holding her temper in.
Yeah.
She just explodes.
They're both babies on
Yeah, they're both babies.
different sides of the same coin.
Yeah, I've been trying to fight with what kind of inspired this romance here, this love story here, because you have a little bit of Romeo and Juliet kind of thing going on.
Of course, yeah.
But then they go see a movie called Pride and Prejudice. So there's some inspiration there from, Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah. And then there's the whole, parent honoring thing. So gave me a little bit of Mulan vibes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was just having a hard time. Not that a movie needs to be compared to anything else, but you draw your inspiration from something. And, those are all classics. I guess you can't really throw Mulan into Shakespeare, but it's still old enough that I could consider it a classic movie where someone could be inspired, I guess, from that. But I didn't know. Yeah, it was just hard for me to kind of relate it to that, I guess, if I'm, explaining myself correctly here.
No, absolutely. It can't stand on its own, so it needs to have some of these touchstones in some capacity.
Right, and it would have been awesome if he did die at the end. Wade, that would have been fucking awesome. I know Disney could never be so bold, but that would have been, your kind of Romeo and Juliet story here. I know they both die in the original, but you could have played something there. And then the Pride and Prejudice thing, I don't understand. I don't understand if you were kind of spoon feeding that to us, saying that, oh, she's proud and he's prejudiced, but they weren't even developed well enough to kind of pick that up. And then in Jane Austen's book, she's proud and he's kind of prejudiced. And then they kind of find out that they're both proud and both prejudiced, and that's kind of what helps them come together and fall in love and blah blah blah. And I mean, you didn't get that here either. You didn't get anything. And I mean, don't even get me started on what did you even say it was? That the point of the movie was understanding your parents and honoring their sacrifices. What? Excuse me, where? Where did you put this in? At the bow? Just the bow at the end? That's it? I mean, don't get me wrong, that like tugged a little bit, but that was almost forced.
Yeah, it was completely forced because we didn't get any real character interaction between Ember, is that her name?
Yeah.
And her dad.
Bernie.
The most character we got out of him was his little backstory. It's like, oh shit, I wish we could have gotten that 30, 40 minutes ago, and you could have built up your Bernie's relationship with Ember. I mean, maybe it's worth saying that Pixar, they bit off a little more than they could chew, because we had this Romeo and Juliet-esque thing going on, while we also have this much more interesting, part of the story where we have these fire immigrants come into a place that was pretty much designed for the water people.
Yes.
That's a much more interesting point. We could maybe have a little bit of, I don't know if we can have any romance really, but we could have just had her dealing with that, and and then the movie could have come to a head where she wanted to express her individuality, which would have helped solidify the immigrants coming to this big city, a la New York, a la the U.S., following your American dream.
Right.
And it would have only bolstered the hard work that her immigrant parents.
Yeah, like the, generational expectation that some people have when they have immigrant parents come here. They didn't run with that. They ran with the love story and then kind of sprinkle that on the side.
Yeah, and they made her look super fucking spoiled. She doesn't want anything. She doesn't work. She just throws a temper tantrum, when things get stressed, or when she gets stressed. It's like, what? And you really question why your dad won't give
let you run the store
for a day. It's like, I'm sorry, Ember, but you don't have time for this dude, man. You need to figure this out in some way. And if he could have shown that may have been interesting. Him showing her to appreciate her hardworking parents. If for some reason she's spoiled brat, and that would, I don't know how that would have gone, because he didn't have enough to bring to the table to make any really character divergences.
Well, I mean, he was spoiled too. The only reason he turned in those tickets for the violations was because he was scared he was going to lose this job too. Because he keeps going from job to job, and he's got nothing going for him either. And at least Amber had that glass making talent there at the end that was like, oh, okay, you do something. Here's a little tiny bit of some personality to you. But we didn't get anything with Wade. Just, I guess, that he was emotional and can maybe help people show their emotions. I guess we got a little bit of that at the stadium when he was helping Klutz.
Yeah, able to connect with people and stuff, and it's pretty bad.
They just didn't go. They didn't take it anywhere. They had good concept here, good general topics that people like. People like stories about immigration and moving to cities, and you basically uprooted your whole entire family and your history, and you move somewhere else and you're starting new. That's fucking awesome. And you do nothing with it.
And it does make it hard when they make the metaphor something so annihilating to one another, because fire and water don't really work on any level. Because we had this little bit of so-called racism here, but it was kind of like what we were talking about, I think, in Teenage Kraken. And I want to say another movie we watched recently where there's just this element, no pun intended, of, but fire is actually dangerous. It's demonstrably dangerous. Like, it catches wood on fire. It catches trees on fire. Some of these people are tree people, right? And so there's just, the kind of this thing across the city where they won't rent to the new fire people moving in, or they can't go into the botanical garden thing, and yada yada. I'm just like, I mean, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
Like, it's a big deal. It's not. It's really not a racist situation. It's a existential situation, And we see a little bit of that. They have little ha-has about her catching some people on fire.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's why she's not allowed in this place.
Yeah. It's not because you're red. It's not because the color of your skin is red. It's because you're literally, I don't know, 200, 400. I don't know how hot you are. Temperature. You are dangerous. It has nothing to do with your skin. Or, when they're at the movie theater and she's glowing.
That was funny, yeah.
I mean, even when someone at the movie theater has their phone and they're in front of me, that's annoying. Now, can you imagine someone lit? I'm sorry, you gotta go to the drive-in or something. That's just how it is. It has nothing to do with your skin or your, kinky hair or your squinty eyes. Nothing. It's your the makeup of what you are.
Mm-hmm.
You can't play it. You can't play it like that.
You can't bring that stuff up.
Yeah.
When this is your metaphor, you can't bring up any kind of segregation like that, because it's just you open the door of like, well, and it's just like how every metaphor kind of breaks down when you try to make it fit whatever wise philosophical thing you're trying to spit out, right? Every metaphor breaks down in some way, and this is one way this metaphor breaks down, and it just doesn't, like, it's just something you don't bring up. You just can't bring it up.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of a big focal point of the movie, because we get the other side of that too, like, oh, we hate water people, and the city hates in quotes fire people, and then we see fire people actually like kind of vitriolic towards water folk. It's like, okay, like, I don't know, it just doesn't work like they want it to. It really doesn't.
Yeah, it's definitely a miss. And another annoying thing that they did here was just throwing the word, element around and chemistry around and periodic around, like no one took a basic science class.
A literal basic science class, not even. Like, I'm to 8th grade
I'm
science.
yeah, physical science
right?
in 8th grade.
But pre-physical science, right? It's just science at that point, right?
Oh, I guess it's just science then, yep.
Yeah, pre way before a chemistry class, though. We don't...
Yeah, middle school science. You learn your chemical reaction and your physical reactions. And, oh my God, it's just, I know I've brought it up so many times now, but it's just that part where they touch hands and he's trying to tell everybody that they touched and that their chemistry changed. I'm like, no, you didn't. Your chemistry did not change. Shut the fuck up.
See, that's the thing.
A physical reaction.
See, that's exactly the metaphor another part of the metaphor I'm talking about is you can't... I get it. When people say, well, we have chemistry. Okay, it's cute, whatever. But when the metaphor is fire and water people, you just can't bring that up, because a reaction happens, but it's not what the reaction that you might... It's not. It's a physical... I don't even know what to say. It's like, what? No, I just can't.
Don't teach these kids that steam is a chemical reaction. Just don't. I guess with water, heating water up in that sense.
Yeah, water to steam.
Just use... I don't know. That just annoyed me. It just annoyed me more than it should.
Well, it's just... No, it's... it's annoying you the perfect amount because it's the crux of the movie, the water and fire thing, the elements like these. Everything should check out with that part of the metaphor. Everything else should be a little bit more like, oh, I don't, the immigration thing. There should be a little bit more of a philosophy there. The metaphor itself should be rock solid. No pun, excuse the pun, but it doesn't even try. It
Yeah.
doesn't even try.
I don't even know what to say anymore. I would have liked it if they would have played with her learning to control her temper by learning to control her temperature.
Mm-hmm.
And
play with the metaphor.
Yeah, exactly. Play with the metaphor here. You're however 200 plus degrees Fahrenheit here, so you're going to melt your boyfriend. Well, not melt, but you're gonna evaporate your boyfriend here.
Yeah.
And if you learn to control your temper, you bring down your temperature, and all of a sudden, you're good. No need for boiling water there. And kind of work with that. And you're not burning, books here anymore because you learn to cool the fuck down. But then there's situations where you might require to be burning more. I don't know. Play with it. Figure it out.
It's like the only job they really have as filmmakers. The story.
Figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, these kinds of stories figured themselves out, and they didn't even let that happen. They didn't let the story develop on its own. They just forced all these bits to come together. Oh, we gotta have. Oh my god, dude, we gotta. For some reason, we have to focus on her exploding 5-6 times when that just doesn't go anywhere. We don't. She doesn't learn a fucking thing. Does she learn something?
I guess and this is slightly annoying, she stops exploding so much because now she has a boyfriend. So she's happier. So she stops exploding as big, I guess.
All right.
I guess that's learning, but what happens when you break up? You're going to explode more? Jesus.
Yeah, I saw that the director fought for the end. I guess towards the in the credits, where they do little bits and stuff, little fun things. They were gonna have a steam baby. They were trying to get that in there, and the producers, I guess, were like,
"Oh my god,
we've met you almost all the way. You, we can't. It's just too far. It's become too stupid." Because the only reason the air thing really works is because they're clouds, right?
Yeah.
So the steam is very.
That would have been funny if they would have played into almost a fair way with a steam baby in there, because you're starting to mix other elements into the situation. It's like what's going on here? That would have been kind of funny if that's where they were kind of going with it, but definitely not. You know what I'm trying to say?
No. I think when you're talking about, have you played that game where it's like an old school game on your phone where you slide, you start off with water. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Water, fire, and then you can make all kinds of shit.
You combine them and then combine other elements and combine other things and make. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
That was a game. You probably played for about 2 hours and you're like, all right, I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, how would that even work? How would the steam baby work?
It would immediately evaporate, or dissipate, I should say.
Like Wade did.
Yeah, exactly. But much faster as soon as it was born. I don't know. It doesn't make sense even in their metaphor.
Yeah, would you have to drip your baby and then he would become water, but then it wouldn't be fire? I don't know. Good. I mean, good job. Whoever told him no.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have changed a damn thing, unfortunately. This movie had no legs.
I would have been more confused.
I guess at least it would have added to the what? Thing
That's
going
true.
on here. They definitely had that thing going on.
That's true. They could have lit my fire a little more.
What do you think about the whole flower scene where Wade took Ember to the botanical garden that flooded and she got to see her flower and everything?
That was stupid.
supposed to be a big moment and everything.
No big moment there. I guess, is that when they touched?
Yeah, right
When they come out?
after
Yeah.
they touched, yeah. They touched right after that bit, I think.
Yeah. That was weird. That was lame. And I don't know, like, that was a very dangerous situation, too. But I was just confused by the whole thing. Like, how did that even work? How did he move her? She was in a bubble?
Yeah.
I don't.
I didn't like that.
No, that was stupid.
Yeah, when the cloud dude was making the hole, I was like, she's gonna jump in there. Is she gonna, like, I don't feel like this isn't gonna go the way they think it is. But it did. It went exactly how they thought it was. And I was like,
All
right, I guess that works.
No, that was just all confusing and unnecessary. And just for what? Just so they could have the big touching of hand moments?
Yep.
No, come on, do something else.
What do they find attractive about each other? What do they like about each other? It feels like they're just so tired of their lives that they were waiting, that they weren't actively waiting, but they were just ready for any kind of disruption and infatuated by the disruption. There was like, I didn't get any sense of anything these people liked about each other.
That's funny. You should read Pride and Prejudice.
Is it similar?
Yeah. You're like, how did you fall in love with each other? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know. He liked that she was going for it.
Exotic?
No. Here it is.
Because she's an immigrant.
Exotic. He liked that she knew what she wanted.
But she didn't want anything.
She didn't want anything, and she didn't even know she didn't even want that. So her passion wasn't even there, which was what he liked. That, oh, she knows she wants to run her parents' shop, and she didn't even want that. She didn't even tell him the truth until like way later on. So now you like a passionless liar. But that's okay, because you already fell in love with her? Alright, cool. But what does she like about him?
Mm-hmm.
At least, there's some kind of, some guys like the fiery types, the tampers. All right,
yeah,
cool.
that's true. And she's got her own movie.
And she's got her own movie. She's the, our main character here. So
he cries.
He ruined her dad's shop.
He might be responsible for, with the help of her, they might be responsible for murdering dozens, hundreds of thousands of fire people.
Yes.
Flooding Fire City, Firetown, what they called it. I want to see a little more of that story. That's a big deal, and
where's the news?
Yeah, where is the news?
Because her tantrum, her big tantrum there in the beginning when we were introduced to Wade, that caused the pipes to burst, and that caused things to start flooding, and he was over there investigating too. So yes, they're both responsible for this. And then they just, threw sandbags on the problem and went off.
And then came back to that and made it glass. We had 2 bits at that little section of the town.
Yeah, and you were like, why didn't you make it glass in the first place, first of all?
They're fucking idiots.
You were already there.
Yeah, like...
Maybe they're trying to say when you're in love, you're stupid.
Yeah, you do stupid stuff and you just do... And you fix your stupid mistakes spontaneously and without a thought. Whatever, but...
Whatever.
It's so dumb.
How did you feel about the animation?
The animation is... It's Pixar at this point. It's so unremarkable that it's just... See, the thing is with animation, we're at this point that, even like video games, we're at this point where you can make anything look like anything. So you have to flex the creativity. It's not the fidelity anymore, It's not the texture and fleshed out world anymore. It's the creativity and style and aesthetic of your world. And we get a little bit of that here. It's kind of fun that there's this history of this city where it's clearly built for water people and then air people and tree people, Earth.
Earth, yeah.
Were they all trees?
They all look like some variation of a plant, yeah.
Which is just kind of weird too, because that requires water on a regular basis to live. You know what I'm saying?
I'm telling you, there's some affairs going on here.
There is. I'm sure they tried to go down the rock route, and they were like, "All right, we're not gonna have
Nope.
enough variants of these critters. They're all gonna look, you know."
Like boulders.
Yeah. And it would have been cute. It would have been just as cute. It wouldn't really change it much, I don't think. But they wanted the green, I'm sure, and they wanted some of the fun variations you can have with plants and everything. But the city's definitely the high point of the movie, in that it does have this kind of sense of history and maybe almost robots like with the movie we just watched, where we had this kind of just fun Rube Goldberg type, just how things work here, and it's cool. It is cool. I did want to ask you though about what did you think about the pole, the little kind of diss at city like maintenance, utility maintenance, because they clearly didn't turn off the water for the fire city. It was like just clogged, whatever. They didn't like reconstruct it or anything and like redivert where the water should go. The pipes were all still there and they just clogged them, I guess.
Yeah, so I think the city was built by the water, for the water. And I think, I don't know, that other elements slowly started coming into the picture. And,
yeah, they said that. Okay,
but in real life, too, fire was probably the last thing that we invented out of those four as humans. So fire is like the last thing. It's like the newest thing. So, yeah, the city was not made for fire in mind. Where was I going with that? What'd you ask?
But they shut that part off to like receive any water. Oh, so they said.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They just kind of put a Band-Aid on it.
I think so.
Is it kind of a diss towards... Is it kind of a negligence? Are they trying to show that cities neglect immigrant little sectors of their cities?
I don't think they thought about it that far, honestly. I think they just needed something to move the plot along.
That was probably the most interesting thing about the whole movie to me, was the kind of the city negligence that we had going about with like the cracks and stuff. And
they knew that.
Yeah, it was just a way to get Wade into the picture.
Yep.
Yeah, we didn't even have the Pixar, not that we've always have it, but we often do. We have that kind of sad moment towards the beginning that kind of gives motivation to our characters. We didn't even have that. I guess the closest thing we got was the dad didn't get his dad to bow when they left. But we didn't even get good reason to like why they left. Yeah,
we didn't get a story there to make us feel bad. I mean, I felt bad just for
That should have been the intro.
That's a sad thing, It's just sad that your parent didn't respond how you wanted them to respond. But we didn't get a story there. We don't know why the dad, not Amber's dad, but Bernie's dad, the grandpa, I guess. We don't know why he decided not to bow. Maybe he wasn't okay with his son leaving because he needed him to run something there at home. We didn't get anything here to feel that bad. And that's Pixar. Pixar tugs at your heartstring. And there were no heartstrings tugged here. And giving us a very powerful thing here would have given us the very powerful thing you were trying to give us at the end when she bowed down to her dad.
Yeah.
Then you would have had people crying.
And that's like basic filmmaking too. Starting the movie with, the bow, ending the movie with the bow. You have similar kind of, in this case, you would have pretty much identical shots, but similar kind of premise. Or you would have, you're at the beginning of a movie where you have a teenager who hates her parents. She is yelling and disobeying and hates her being bratty little bitch. And then at the end, she's a little more, it's kind of the same scene, but she's loving and, is appreciative.
Yeah, she grew.
Something,
she learned.
That kind of mirroring is very common in film. That would have been perfect here. To have like a 8-minute little introduction with her dad which we did get, but just in the city, building their shop. But we could have just had that introduction of them living wherever the fire people are originally from, them leaving for whatever reason that we find out over the course of those 8 minutes, and then it ends, and then the scene opens up with Ember. It's like, oh shit, they had a baby, and they're old now.
Yeah.
Something like that. And then you get that ending. It's like, damn. No matter how bad the middle section was, that would have fucking got people. I have no fucking doubt it would have gotten you.
Hell yeah, it almost got me. So I know it would have definitely got me if I would have had something there to relate. Like, oh shit, the dad didn't want to do it because of this, but now here's Amber, she's doing it, and just bust out crying. But nope. Couldn't even give me that.
I wish this movie would have taken the child of immigrants story a little more cleanly and more intelligently. I wish that's the route it would have gone, personally. What about you?
Yeah, me too. You I guess Pixar doesn't do a lot of love stories.
That's fair, yeah.
So you're not, I don't, stick to what you know, I guess. I don't know.
No, there's some deep wisdom in that, absolutely.
Your greatest love story you've given me is Wall-E and Eve.
They didn't even talk.
And they didn't even fucking talk. But goddamn, that's love right there. Or Carl and Ellie, and she died 5 minutes in.
And it carries the whole movie.
And it carries the whole fucking movie. So give me that love. That love right there, that's what I want to see. Give me that.
And the rejection
and then with the immigration, just immigration parents and immigration kids and whatever, that's your focus.
Yes. And then on the back of Bernie's dad rejecting him, but Bernie accepting his kid.
There you go. That's it.
That would have been good stuff.
Just don't try anything new.
Can you see kids being entertained by this?
I can see kids thinking Wade is funny.
That he cries.
Because he cries and he's like all kind of wiggly and jiggly. And it's funny to kids when people get mad and throw temper tantrums. And then I would think the kids would think it's funny when he eats that really hot thing that the dad gives him. And he's like trying to stuff it in. I can see kids being entertained by this movie for sure.
Okay. Because I was thinking I don't even know who this movie's made for at this point. But, okay.
I can see kids definitely being entertained by this movie. Just for the animation alone and all the silly bits that there are. Because there's a lot of silly stuff. And silly stuff is okay. Just, you gotta sprinkle it in with your bigger stuff.
Do you have any final thoughts for me on this film, man?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't have any thoughts either. Do you have a Muffin Man?
Do I have a Muffin Man, or do I know the Muffin Man?
Do you know the Muffin Man?
The one who lives on
Drury
Lane?
I think like Druary or something like that.
Drury.
It's kind of a funny word thing. Or at least it isn't Shrek. Do you have a game for me?
Kinda.
Let's hear this game I've been hearing about. We're trying this new thing. We want to spice things up.
I didn't think of enough.
How many you got?
6.
That's good. Whatever that is.
But
That's fine. That's fine. Stupid's good. Let's try it. Let's see how it goes.
Alright. I have a rapid fire game.
Okay.
Question.
I like the rapid fire games.
Alright. Disney or Pixar?
Disney.
Do I have to answer too?
You can answer.
You're picking Disney? Okay. Pixar. Fire or water?
Fire.
Fire. Yes. Sweet or spicy?
That's a good one.
Spicy. All the way. Spicy.
Sweet.
Sweet. Okay.
Yeah. I like ice cream and donuts and shit too much.
You do?
I love spicy stuff, but sugar is just too important.
Too addicting, you mean?
Yeah.
Anger or tears? Yeah, that's a hard one too.
Tears.
Tears over
tears.
anger?
Yeah, they're easier to deal with.
Tears are easier to deal with?
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go with anger. Tears are too awkward sometimes.
They're easier to ignore.
Oh, shit. Alright. City or country?
Suburbs.
Nope.
I guess
No
I'd
in between.
rather the city, yeah, than like
Yeah.
country.
Okay, I think I'm gonna go country. Romeo or Juliet?
Juliet.
Juliet.
Yeah.
Alright. That's it. That's all I got.
What did you say in the last one?
I'm going Romeo.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That was fun. That was a
This
good one.
one?
That was a good game.
Good.
You did, yeah.
Good. I'll come up with better ones next
No,
time.
that was good. I like that. Or whatever game, whatever you feel. You can do in waves too. One of my podcasts did like every 10 episodes was a wave of the game, and then the next 10 was a different game, and the next 10 was a different game. Something like that.
Yeah, there weren't enough characters here to do like a kiss, marry, kill game.
Yeah, and it doesn't always make sense in everything because
Yeah.
it's like you said in when you were brainstorming this, King Kong, Godzilla, and Meg.
The Meg.
That's a funny one, that makes sense. That's funny. Yeah, well, go ahead and tell me what you think this movie cost, man.
All right. Here's my explanation. Turning Red's budget was $175 million. Lightyear, which I guess Lightyear was the Pixar movie before this, and then Turning Red was before Lightyear. Lightyear was $200 million. So I think I'm going in betweenish and going $185 million for this one.
That's a good guess. I'm not sure if Lightyear was done by a kind of fresh director. This guy's only done, a handful of projects. He did Good Dinosaur in a short, one of the Pixar shorts, and I think he comes from the animation background, but I wouldn't be surprised if every Pixar director comes from the animation background. But yeah, no, I think that is a good guess. It's kind of funny because you really do gotta compare it to its contemporaries in its, in its distribution house. Can't compare it to Spider-Man.
Right. And I feel like the animation was closer to Turning Red than it was to Lightyear.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to go into close to the 200s or too close to the 200s, but yeah, I guess this is Pixar, so.
The budget here says on the Wikipedia that it was $200 million.
Whoa.
So good job.
Thank you.
It's might be one of these things where the movie floats about when the 140 1 hour and 40 minute kind of mark, it maybe costs about 200. It's crazy. It's actually crazy that this movie cost twice as much as the new Spider-Man film Across the Spider-Verse. That's unbelievable, isn't it?
Oh my god, you're right.
And that film's, 30 minutes longer? 40 minutes longer?
And 1,000,000 times better?
In every way.
In every way.
In every way. It's not even funny.
Also, why was there no marketing for this film? Why was Barbie and Mario the only two films this year that were very highly advertised?
Yeah, I don't even feel like Guardians was that advertised.
No, I don't think so either. Maybe the Meg 2 was, but maybe I was a little bit too excited about that one.
No, I don't think the Meg 2 was advertised.
Because I saw it on their TV out there in the living room. I saw a commercial. So, I at least saw that. It wasn't a commercial, I guess it was a trailer. Whatever it was for the Meg 2.
Yep.
But that's it. No other movie that I can think of was advertised or marketed quite like Barbie or Mario.
Yeah, I don't watch TV, so I don't see those ads, but I'm really not seeing a lot of movie trailers either, and I look movie stuff up all the time, for the podcast and stuff. It's just like I'm like the prime target for any kind of advertising.
Yeah, and even on social media, people post stuff. People are saying stuff, and really the only other movie that was kind of a thing was Oppenheimer, and that was because it came out during Barbie release, and everyone was just talking about how you could hear the bomb when you went to see the Barbie movie, and that's it. That's silly, but that's it. So what's going on here? What's going on with marketing?
Speaking of Oppenheimer, it entered the top 5
Good
this
job.
weekend at 717 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good.
Very cool.
Job,
I'm
man.
happy. I'm
Me
happy
too,
for
me
that.
too.
I was it's hard to feel empathetic or anything or sympathetic towards any major company type thing, but I was hoping for Oppenheimer to kind of scooch its way up there. So it's in 4th place, I guess, if you want to look at it like that. Ranked 4th in highest grossing films this year. And Barbie's at 1.279 billion. So it's just under 100 million shy of passing Mario. So probably happening. It's probably happening.
No.
It's hard to say because I think they've all opened up in every market now. I think Oppenheimer opened up in Korea's market this weekend, and so that gave it its push. And that's about I don't know. I think Barbie's probably gonna end up passing Mario. I think it's
God
over.
Dang.
It's over. But that's cool. That's
not cool.
It's whatever,
Not cool to me.
It says here that Elemental went on to make about 458 million, which is probably just making a little bit of money. So not a big loss in any way for Disney, but I don't know. I feel like their reputation is real thin, running thin these days. I don't know, but the reception for this film was actually pretty high. So I don't know. Maybe we're in a little bit of a minority here.
Yeah, a lot of the reviews I read were, I don't know why everyone hates this movie, but here's why I love it. And I think I only read one bad review about, they were really shit-talking the dialogue, which is funny because that's what you said, that the dialogue just sucks.
Yeah, dialogue,
and it's so important.
It's an important part of a movie.
But everyone else was talking about how it was just this awesome, moving film and how much they loved it. And one person said that it was their favorite Pixar film of the year.
Of the year,
yeah.
Nice.
Good job.
I love all the Pixar films that come out every year.
Is it also your worst Pixar film of the year?
Yeah, by virtue of process of elimination. It is.
And I guess before this film, it was Lightyear, and then Turning Red, and then I don't know what, and then Soul.
Luca, I think.
Yeah, Luca, then Soul, and I mean Soul was good. Soul was a hit, but then I
thought Luca was decent.
It was okay.
We're on a wild decline. Luca was that first big dip, and they just haven't recovered, I think, since then.
Yeah, I think before Soul it was Onward, and Onward was
yeah, Onward.
So I don't know. Maybe we'll have something. We'll have something soon.
This movie kind of deals with some of the Onward problems, and I think in a similar way where we just didn't really embrace what we were given as much as we should. I haven't seen Onward in a little while, so I'd have to rewatch it and think about it from that angle, but I feel like we really didn't. We just kind of ignored the awesome fucking world we built in Onward, and it just became this, epic quest, I guess. But to kind of save the movie in some way. But it just the movie, in my mind's eye, it wasn't even that long ago. We watched it like a year ago, but in my mind's eye, it felt very much for children, which is not a bad thing. It's just not going to speak to me as much as I wish, it would. But not everything's for everyone.
That's true.
So, but this one definitely is sitting right next to A Good Dinosaur. Good job. You made a equivalently terrible film.
Good job,
Peter Sohn.
Try again, Peter.
Yeah, try again. I'll give it up to you. I appreciate the kind of variety that you're trying to bring to the Pixar world, the Pixar landscape. I just wish you had better creatives on your team including yourself, maybe. I wish you...
Damn.
I'm sorry, but it's just, maybe watch, I don't know, just go watch or read some stuff that's well written. I don't know. Figure it out.
Go watch Beau's Afraid.
Yeah, Beau's Afraid is a good one. I wouldn't, go watch A Marriage Story, There's a lot of dialogue in that. It's a lot of yelling and getting kind of emotions across and stuff. And go watch that. And then maybe... Yeah, well, thank you for watching this film with me.
You're welcome.
Thank you guys for listening to this episode. If you like this film, I'd be happy to hear why. Write in. You can come on the podcast if you'd really like. I'd be happy to. Gotta get your own mic, though. Not doing the Sam Harris thing and sending you a mic. You know what I'm saying? To record. No, I'm not doing that.
Not yet.
That's all right. That's why Sam charges $15 a month.
Exactly. And ours are free.
Yeah. But yeah, you guys, catch our other podcasts at our Patreon at patreon.com/Filmistines every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Also on Spotify, podcasts, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, whatever, all that. Leave nice reviews, nice comments. Tell your friends, tell your mamas, tell your grandmas, tell your babysitters, whatever. Tell them to drop by and listen to our podcast, our ASMR podcast. Is that funny?
That we're an ASMR podcast?
Yes, that we're doing an ASMR podcast.
That is funny.
Yeah, well, thank you all, and everybody take care, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Filmistines. Thanks for tuning in and joining us on our cinematic journey. We hope you enjoyed our discussion and gained some new insights and perspectives in the world of movies. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform, especially Patreon at patreon.com/Filmistines, and follow us on social media for more film-related content. We love hearing from our listeners, so if you have any feedback, suggestions, movie recommendations, or book recommendations, please feel free to reach out to us. Until next time, keep watching, keep loving the magic of movies. This is the Filmistines signing off.